Hey everyone, it's Garrick here. So, when you start building props or parts for costumes or whatever, you will eventually run into Bondo. A Bondo is a brand name for polyester-based autobody filler and a polyester-based fiberglassing resin. The reason why it is so widely used is because it's cheap and it's ubiquitous. I live in the United States, and from the smallest town to the largest city, you can go to a hardware store or an auto body store and pick up Bondo products. They are everywhere. And those are two very, very good reasons to use something. Besides those two facts, I personally hate them. They are gross and stinky. And it's not just that they're stinky, it's that they are hazardous. They have a high VOC, which means that long-term exposure to vapors can cause permanent nerve damage. And multiple exposures to your skin can give you a severe allergic reaction, making it so that it's very difficult to work with the polyester-based products at all. So with those two things in mind, I've tried a bunch of different compounds to replace them so that I don't have to use them as much. It's also convenient to find something that's lower VOC if you have to work inside an apartment. You do not want to be using polyester-based products in a closed space, especially if you have roommates or a significant other. They will kill you. So with that in mind, I have a couple other products here that I use on a regular basis and I really enjoy. When I have the time and money, I will use them over this stuff, 7 days out of the week. Now with all of this, you do need to use protection. Even though this other stuff is lower VOC, you still need a good respirator, especially when you're sanding. You don't want any kind of particulates getting into your lungs. And you don't want this stuff on your skin, so you need to buy some disposable gloves. I use nitrile because I also work with a lot of silicones, and latex tends to react with silicone. But if you're not working with any of that kind of stuff, you can go with the cheaper latex gloves. The first thing I'm going to show you is my replacement for the filler. When you need to fill gaps or smooth something out, that's what most of the time people are using Bondo for. And I have found 2-part epoxy wood fillers do that trick. Unlike other wood fillers that either dry through moisture exchange or through a solvent evaporating, these are 2-part epoxies that cure through a chemical reaction. So you're not going to get any shrinkage or cracking. It's a big, big thing. The 2 brands that I use are PC Woody and Elmer's Damaged Wood Systems. Both of them can be found at local hardware stores. I think this was about $20 in store. This was about $15. They're both the same size. The Elmer's just has a different container. They just come in 2 little trays. Now this stuff is thicker than Bondo. It's more like a putty than the paste-like consistency of an auto body filler. So if you need to smooth it around edges, you can use either lacquer thinner or denatured alcohol. Besides that, I really like these. They have a 24-hour cure, which in some situations is very nice. They also have an hour pot life, which means you can work with them for much longer than you can with the Bondo. The main thing that you have to be aware of when using these 2-part wood systems is you need to make sure that it's a truly 1-to-1 mix. If you get that ratio off, they won't cure properly. You'll just have a bunch of problems. It's going to be a huge mess. So I like using these graduated cups. They're called medicine cups or medicine dispenser cups. You can find them online very cheap. I think you can get a pack of 200 for about a pack of 100 for about $2 to $3 on Amazon. I use them for everything, casting, all this stuff. They're great. those are about the only good Bondo replacement that I have found. I've seen people use like spackle and some other stuff that just doesn't seem to hold up over the long term. This is really the only thing that I've found to be effective. Now, when you're replacing the fiberglassing resin, the polyester resin, you've got a couple options. They are also epoxy based. You can use the 2-part 5-minute or 30-minute epoxies. I would not buy them in the little syringes, the little double syringe. That's just not enough to do anything with. Most hardware stores will sell the large bottles. I buy mine from Hobby Lobby because they always have a 40% off coupon, so that's the cheapest I have found them. The 5-minute and 30-minute epoxies tend to be thicker than your standard fiberglassing resin. They have the consistency of honey. So what I have found is really effective is taking the 30-minute epoxies, putting them in a hot water bath, and then letting them sit for a minute or two and use them after that. The heat is going to make them cure quicker, but it's also going to make them less viscous, so it'll be easier to smooth around. The other stuff that I have found is actually relatively new. Well, new to me. It's been around forever. I got it for Christmas. It's the West System epoxy resins. Now, these you can find at boating, like marina stores, or specialty woodworking stores like Rockler. They are a 2-part system with a base resin and then multiple kinds of hardeners. So I have the extra slow hardener for summertime here in Arizona when it's 115 degrees out. You need a little bit of extra time to work with something. And then I have the standard fast hardener. And the nice part about the fast hardener for those of you that live in cooler climates is that this will make the resin cure at as low as 40 degrees Fahrenheit outside. So that's really nice. This epoxy resin is also more liquid than the 5-minute stuff. It runs easier. It's got a lower viscosity, however you want to say it. The other fantastic part about this stuff is the pump system. You can buy a starter kit, comes with the pumps, or you can buy them individually and buy a pump kit separate, but they dispense a perfect mix ratio. So all you have to do is take your mixing cup, do a pump of the resin, do a pump of whatever hardener you want, and mix it up. If you need more, 2 pumps, and so on. It makes the mixing time and the worry about getting your cure right, it just takes all of that problems away. I really love products that make something easier for me to use. A nice little side note about this stuff too is that you can use it as a coating on wood. They have a specialty coat hardener that you can get that makes it a transparent, like a clear coat. If you use the standard hardeners, it has a slight yellow gold tinge to it. And at the end of the video, I'll show you some of the pieces on my patio that I have used this to coat. It's really quite nice. Now, all this epoxy stuff will work with your standard fiberglass cloth and fiberglass mat. But if you're working inside of an apartment, or if you are like me and you just hate being itchy and scratchy and worrying about fiberglass particles, I would suggest trying out Burlap. Now, Burlap is super cheap. I get mine from a fabric store down the road for $1.99 a yard. It's a natural fiber that's woven very similar to how fiberglass cloth is woven, and it hardens up really nice. This is a piece with a 5-minute epoxy in it, and this is a piece that has the West System epoxy. They are not going to be as strong as fiberglass, but a lot of times when you are building prop pieces, you don't need the level of strength that fiberglass provides. And so I've found for the convenience and for less scratchy evenings, using Burlap is quite nice. So give it a try. Go buy a yard or buy some scraps. run some epoxy in it. It works with the polyester-based fiberglassing resin as well. Just make sure that you're following all the safety instructions, using your respirator or a dust mask. The epoxy products can be used indoors with proper ventilation. So have a window open, a fan going, and you're going to be fine. But yeah, so that's some of the stuff that I use instead of the polyester. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below, or you can ask me on my Twitter at NoOne'sDesigns. If you like these kind of videos, we're going to be doing a lot more this year. So subscribe to my channel. You can also follow my wife and I's work on our Facebook page, facebook.com/NoOne'sDesigns, or on our website, NoOne'sDesigns.com. Anyways, let's go outside and take a look at those pieces that I coated with the West system. Hey, last minute video edition. So I forgot to mention that you can use all of those epoxies on paper products as well. So if you are doing pepakura or you're working with cardboard or cardstock, you can use that epoxy resin to harden them. This is cardboard that I've used the wood filler on the sides, and on the top I use that West system to harden both the MDF and the cardboard down in here. So yeah, if you're doing pepakura and you don't want to use the polyester resins in your house, you can go with the epoxy. Anyways, yay! Fun last minute addition to a video! Ah! Alright, my two patio projects that I've used that epoxy on are my picnic bench. We bought an unfinished picnic bench from Lowe's and just painted the whole thing gray except for the center board here that I coated with that West System epoxy. Gives it a nice shine, really kind of shows off the wood grain. And the project that I'm in the middle of right now is a top for my little serving tray over here. And we use this at parties to hold ice and have drinks and stuff in. And I wanted to do a like an exposed plywood top. So that's just been coated with the West System epoxy, a couple of liberal coats. I'm going to be throwing a pair of hinges on there so it can open and close and either just be a tabletop or a drink dispenser and a tabletop. And then my wife likes to do stencils, and so we will be probably putting some different stencils either on the top of there and over on our picnic bench. Anyways, thanks for watching the video, guys.